Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to FreshandFit Podcast. We're here with Earn Your Leisure, man.
Yo, what up?
Troy, man.
Let's get into it, baby.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the FreshandFit Podcast, man. We're here with Earn Your Leisure. I'm going to get right into it. Patreon.com/FreshFit, guys. Go ahead and get the crazy content on there between me talking about real estate, kicking out bimbos, improving your Instagram to get girls.
Credit scores, networking.
Yeah, networking, credit scores, but getting your money on point, getting in shape. I have a lot of fitness videos on there as well. Basically help you become the best all-around man that you can be. And check us out over there at patreon.com/FreshFit. You can start for as low as $5 a month. Also, guys, we're on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, every single platform you listen to. We're there. Get the merch, FreshandFitPodcastStore.com. Fresh has a vlog channel, Freshman CEO.
For behind the scenes, check it out.
And then we also got another YouTube channel, Fresh and Fit Clips, guys. Check us out over there as well. If you don't have 2 to 3 hours to watch me lose hair follicles debating with girls, go ahead and check out the Clips channel for an abbreviated version. Fresh and Fit Podcast on Instagram, Unplug Fit Instagram, Freshman CEO. And we got a new TikTok. Can't wait to get kicked off the 8th time. Fresh and Fit on TT.
Hopefully not.
So check us out over there, guys, because we're probably going to get kicked off soon. But without further ado, man, we got some special guests in the house.
Yes, we do.
What up, man?
Welcome back to Miami, man.
By the way,
I like that.
So we know who you are,
Love it.
but tell the audience who you are, EYL.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having us, man. We appreciate the hospitality. Earn Your Leisure. I'm one half of Earn Your Leisure, Rashad, my partner Troy.
What up?
And yeah, I guess the best way to describe us is a financial literacy business community platform. We have everything from a podcast network to an educational portal, EYL University, do events. Actually, while we down here right now, we just finished up a 3-day activation for Art Basel. So we talk about finance, we talk about investing, we talk about business, and we just blend it together with culture, sports, music, fashion, and try to just package it and make it really interesting.
That was like the super modest approach. We lit up the Art Basel. Shout out to everybody that pulled up to Freehold. It was incredible.
Man, you guys had DJ Khaled. You guys had one of the FaZe Clan members in there talking about marketing and how to grow the business. Like, that was amazing, guys. Well, we brought Rolo there. Rolo's like, wow, this is amazing. I never came to an event like this where I could learn, things I never learned in my life. So that was fire.
I appreciate you showing up, man. That was dope.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what's new with you guys, man? You guys, for those that don't know, we've had them on the podcast before.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
We have.
It's just that y'all don't watch the daytime shows. You guys are more concerned with the chicks at night. Me kick the chicks out. But man, we've had them before, man. These guys were actually a huge inspiration in me building up my real estate portfolio. When they first came on the show, I had maybe 1 or 2 properties. I have 6 now. And a lot of it is thanks to these guys. I watch your guys' videos as well. You guys need to subscribe to their channel because you guys are way too busy chasing after women, man. You need to be chasing success, and these guys will definitely help you with that. But what's new with you guys, man? It's been a minute.
Yeah, man. It has been a minute. Just world domination, bro, honestly.
There you go. No more mind speaking.
You know what I'm saying? We just been traveling around the world. We was in Africa, Nigeria. We was in Egypt. We just did the Apollo, sold out the Apollo. We just did an event in Miami, Art Basel, 3-day activation. That was crazy. We got a real estate expo in Oakland coming up on Saturday. So for us, it's just really about just pushing the limit. We got a new show with Revolt. We just interviewed Rick Ross. That's like over 1 million views. We was on a Breakfast Club. That's like 2.6 million views. So,
nice.
For us, it's really just pushing the limits, having fun and pushing the limits and really doing stuff that has never been done. When you're talking about business and financial literacy, everything has always been buttoned up and boring. So for us to come on and just, do events at Art Basel or, have the Apollo sold out. And it's just, pushing the limit, pushing the envelope, and just really trying to just give motivation to people out there that just anything is possible.
Yeah, and look good doing it. Most importantly, right? We want to show you that there's a different approach or a different look to business, right? Not suit and tie, but actually jeans and hoodies and Nikes and gold chains and platinum chains. Like you can do all these things responsibly and learn from doing them. So, it's just a different approach and it's growing, man. Shout out to y'all. Like last time we were here, the subscribers was like what 100-something thousand. Now you almost at
Right around 100.
Couple plaques on the way. Y'all killing it, man. I
It's
love
funny
it.
because y'all kind of embody success and making it, but you look just like regular dudes, which is powerful because we're taught to only look, flashy or show things, but y'all do it modestly, kind of like Myron. So that's fire, man.
Yeah, well,
I'm flexing all day, bro.
I'll go below my. I'm a bum, bro. I be wearing the same shit every day and stuff. Like, yo, it's so bad. Some chick came on the show, was like, Myron, that's why you're broke. You don't want to pay me $10K a month as a sugar baby. I was like, I don't pay no chick, but yeah, cool. Call me broke. Man.
Well, like I'm gonna show my money.
Meet me at the Lamborghini dealership.
Yeah, but Troy got a chain. Troy got a chain now, so he's changing.
Okay.
Yeah, he's changing.
I see the Rolex.
Oh shit. Okay.
I went to the dark side. Nah. We call it the legacy chain. The legacy chain.
That's funny, man. So you guys basically took over the podcast game. You came in, you showed mad value, and people look to you for advice, for financial advice. Could you give somebody advice from the start, like from the jump? What's your take on the podcast game and how should it get started?
Yeah, I mean, so our whole approach for podcasting was to really do something that has never been done before. And we didn't want to follow anybody else's blueprint. And that's extremely important, I think. Now, there's a lot of podcasts out right now.
A lot.
But the originality is at an all-time low. A lot of people are copying. I'm sure there's people that's copying what you guys are doing, right? Yeah. So my first advice for anybody that wants to get into the podcast game is find your niche and look what everybody else in that field is doing and do the complete opposite. So for us, it was a value add approach. Like our whole blueprint, even to this day, was to add as much value as possible for free. Like, what I mean? It's you can watch YouTube, Instagram, listen to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and there's no charge for that. So we knew that, just by providing value, that's going to make us more valuable. So now when it is time for a paid event, or even if we don't have a paid event or we don't have a paid subscription, our valuation is going to go up over the course of time just because of the influence that we have. So you look at FaZe Clan, we interviewed the guy from FaZe Clan, they got $1 billion valuation based off of their influence. Yeah, like, what I mean? That's if you really think about it, it's how many followers they have, how many subscribers they have, how many people follow them, and now they actually have $1 billion valuation about to go public on the stock exchange. So Crazy. That wasn't our initial. That wasn't our initial intent. But I say that to say a lot of times people get jaded by getting into something and seeing where's the money coming from right now. You don't really necessarily have to figure out the revenue model. You just have to figure out how you can add value, how you can build a following, and then revenue will always come on the back end.
Money is always the byproduct. Right, add the value first, but the second part is be consistent with it. Right, you have to do that every single day. Like the reason we're successful is because we commit to doing it every single day. Right, I know he's going to post a certain amount of articles. I know I'm going to get up and read every day, because at this point, people are not going to the traditional sources for news anymore. They come into Instagram, and when they come into Instagram, most times they come into us, and so we want to make sure we have the most value so that people can rely on it, use it, and make it a transformational relationship. Right, they're going to get value. They're going to apply it to their lives. They're going to make money from it. Yeah. And guess what they're going to do next? Come back to get more. And when they come back, they're going to tell you, and tell their sister and their cousin, this is where I got the information. And now you started with one person, but now you created a community of people who will come to you for information. So value, consistency, and don't worry about the money. That'll be a byproduct of the value add.
Don DeMarco.
Yeah, man, that was fucking awesome right there.
Shout out to the earners in the chat. I see the graduation caps going up. Shout out to you.
And what I've come to realize too from doing this, the social media stuff, is back to what you're saying with FaZe Clan. It's like, how much attention can you command? And that's really what it is. Like, it's wild. Like, advertisers are going to pay you a lot of money because you can command attention, and that's what the advertisers are paying for. And in this crazy social media world that we're in now, that's essentially the name of the game. Can you keep people on the app so that they can run enough ads in front of them? And if you can, boom, you're going to go up like crazy. YouTube is all about watch time, and Instagram is all about engagement.
Attention is the most, I said this a few years ago, attention is the most valuable commodity that we have. It's more valuable than gold, than silver, than copper, anything, even diamonds. And attention is something that is extremely important. So when you look at Instagram, really their business model is based off of people's attention, right? The app is free. But you go on the app and you spend a certain amount of time on the app, and they have a certain amount of followers that they can count. Now they can sell that to advertisers and say, okay, we have 4 billion people, we have 2 billion people, 1 billion people, whatever, like on this app, between WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. Now this is worth this as far as how you want to advertise. So the attention is something that people are fighting for. So when you have attention, never minimize that. Right? Because it's like a social media influencer is not just a social media influencer. It's actually like a world influencer. You're not that many people in history of the world have ever had 1 million followers or 500,000 followers.
That's a crazy point.
That's true though.
It's not like some Roman nigga was like, hey, got 1 million followers. Better suck my dick, bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe a king.
Roman came out. Oh, man.
You know, I'm known from this land to this land. I got a lot of followers. Like, it never was known like that.
It's a unique moment in history. So, you know, we got to understand that, capitalize off of that. And if anybody is in the space, that should be your focus, is actually getting attention. And like I said, for us, our value add is to give as much value as we possibly can, educate as much people, and that's kind of like how we're keep growing our tent.
Yeah.
So I'll say this for the people out there that, you know, might have a bit of a following. They're on their podcast. They're trying to monetize it. You know what I'm saying? You guys are the experts on monetizing different types of situations. How should they monetize their podcast? As far as like, what platform should they get on? What can they expect? Strategies? What would you guys say?
I mean, a lot of people start with nothing. I mean, we didn't come in with a podcast budget. We came in saying like, we're going to add value and put it out there. And so we used, what was the first point? We were on
Anchor.
We were on Anchor. It was free, right? And depending on how many listens you got, they would get ads for you. And that was the first time we were generating money. And then once we knew we had attention, we kind of had this thing like, if you're not the producer, you're the product. Right. And so, we went from Instagram, but now we got to have them go somewhere else. So now Earn Your Leisure University became another place where we can provide information that was strictly from us. You know what I mean? So once you have attention, it was Anchor, and then you started finding other ways to get people to advertise on your podcast. Right. I told people, like, if you don't have big corporations coming in, that's fine. You can still have business. How? Go to your local restaurant. Right. Go to the corner store. Like, listen, tell them I got a podcast. I got 1,000 listeners. $500 to put an ad on for 3 weeks. You think they're not going to do it? It's cheap advertisement and it's free for the listeners. Like, oh, well, I live in the area. I might go visit that place. So you start where you are, and then as you grow, more people will come, and then more business comes to it. So everybody works like, I don't have a big corporate account. Think small, and you'll grow big.
And then also, we want to just give as much value as possible as far as how to monetize after the beginning stages. Of course, there's merch. Right. So I look at the podcast as like a free advertisement every time, like, you know, an hour to 2 hours, depending on how long you do your podcast. So you have to wear something. So if you see us, we wear assets over liabilities. That's our merch collection. Troy got a custom EYO shooter's jacket.
I need me one of those, bro.
So anytime you see us on camera, 90% of the time we're wearing our merchandise. That's to promote the brand and build more awareness, but it's also a revenue stream as well, right? So it's a free advertisement for what we're doing. So merch is a way. Of course, YouTube, you guys know about that with AdSense, super chats, all of that, you know, you can monetize on YouTube. And then the good thing with the podcast is that there's 2 ways to monetize the same content. So when you do a podcast, you record the podcast and you put the audio on audio outlets, on Spotify, on Apple, stuff like that.
Which Anchor does for you guys. So people might not know, like, Anchor's, guys, is just a distribution hub, and it pushes it out to all the other platforms. So you guys aren't confused. Sorry, Rashad, go ahead.
Yeah. So you can monetize that, right? Like, you can either have outside companies give you ads, or like us, we're iHeart. So they do ads for us for audio. So we get paid for having ads on the audio, but that same content we put on YouTube. Now, iHeart has nothing to do with our YouTube. So they're different advertisers that we can get for YouTube. So it's the same content, but we get paid 2 different ways, right? So we get paid from the audio, we get paid from YouTube. And then, of course, once you build enough, you know, following, you can do events. Now that, you know, COVID is opening back up, it's open back up now. So we do events all over the world, right? So that's a revenue stream right there. You guys are on Patreon. So, you know, the Patreon, you know, that's obviously a way to support creators and to actually give more value, more bonus content. So that's another revenue stream as well. And then you can have other off branches. So like for Earn Your Leisure, we look at that as like a public school that's free. YouTube, you can Spotify, Apple, you know, Instagram, but then we have a private school. Some people need more of a hands-on learning, right? So the private school education is EYL University. So EYL University is something that's a fraction of the cost of college. We just had a Black Friday sale with $600 for the entire year. So if you look at, you know, going to Harvard, you're talking about $58,000 to $64,000 for a year, right? So you're looking at, you know, we're actually providing real information that you can actually go out and buy a home, and you can actually invest in stocks and crypto and all that stuff for $600. Like, think it's now it's like $1,000. Either way, that's a fraction of the cost, right? But that's also a way where you can actually build a business as well. So there's a variety of different ways how you can actually monetize a podcast, because most of the time people look at podcasts and they say it's free. So they're looking at it like, all right, well, what's the point of doing this, or how are you going to make money for something that's free? But anytime something is free, the customer is the person that's actually listening. Like, they're the one that's actually, providing the value, even if they're not paying. Because even if you're watching this right now for free on YouTube, you're going to get paid from it, right? So either way, you're going to get paid. So don't worry about that. As far as if you're interested in starting a podcast, don't let monetization stop you.
Right.
Just find your purpose, find how you can add value, and then all of the stuff that I just named, and there's more stuff.
Yeah.
That's just a couple of different things.
And the other part of it is when you're sitting down doing podcasts, right, you should be learning from the people you're speaking to, right? And so we've mastered that. Like, all right, somebody comes in, they're talking about the industry, we're interested in the industry. Now we have an expert. That's a business we can do. We've done that with trucking. We did that with vending machines. We've done it with real estate. Right? And so now these become more revenues of income based on the podcast itself, right? Podcast, like you said, is like the starting point where we can get the information, add value, but the money becomes a byproduct because all the things we're bringing in from the information we got.
Awesome, man. Yo, y'all got a lot of sauce right there.
Fire.
I even got a question myself right now. Yeah. Is iHeart, can you push to iHeart through Anchor? Or is that like its own?
It's separate.
It's a separate
okay, you can't push to iHeart, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But another thing with that is like a lot of people don't do that. They don't study the analytics, right? So I know you guys are big on analytics, right? You know your YouTube subscribers, you know the demographics, you know the attention of how many people are watching at a certain time. But those key things are important because there might be a time when somebody comes from you from an independent standpoint, right? A corporate McDonald's might come to you and they want to know your numbers. If you don't know them, then you don't know what to charge. Or somebody in independent business, like if you don't know your numbers, you don't know what to charge. Yeah. So study your analytics so you know what your value is, your value add is into the actual business of advertising.
Thanks. And also, guys, you can use a website like Social Blue Book will also help you get kind of an idea of where you stand as far as like views and what you can tell advertisers. And it gives you a nice little range, which is what we typically use. But I agree with you that, when you know the analytics, then you can actually speak in an educated fashion. Like, hey, we retain this much of our audience, is this much demographic of your, buyer goal, your buyer demographic. So it's definitely important to know your analytics. I agree.
I want to look forward to the future when there's a metric to gauge like how long people are watching. For example, like, people are here for like 2-3 hours. Like that in itself is currency because he's someone for that long. That's powerful.
Yeah, you can look on your YouTube analytics. And see the average duration for the watch time for the videos.
No, but I'm saying like a price point so they could like average it. That's because think about it. No one measures how long they're actually watching. They just measure like, okay, how many people watching at a time, but never how long have they been watching over a period of time.
Let me ask you guys this. I see you. So this is Facebook, right?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube.
So do you what's the thought process in spreading it out as opposed to just having it centralized only on YouTube where every single person has to watch it on YouTube?
It's funny because control. So most creators, like they get either a contract or deal with that platform like YouTube or Twitch, and that's what they do exclusively. For us, it's like we want control because we want to post whatever we want. We don't want to be told what to do. So for us, it's like, you know what, we're gonna spread it out, and that's how we market it for us. But
just to get just to get a little bit more reach. But we were flirting with the idea of potentially doing Twitch only streams
or YouTube,
and then YouTube only streams just to funnel the viewers over there as well.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll read these chats real fast. What do we got here? And guys, thank you so much for the donations. Appreciate it. Lil J, $5. How necessary do you think a college degree is? 1 out of 10.
Ooh, man.
I feel like a college degree is long. All right, so it's beneficial from the networking standpoint.
Yeah.
It's beneficial from, you do learn some good skills in college. And, if you're trying to get a job, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have a college degree, but it can hurt financially. That's the part that they don't tell you. It can hurt financially as far as putting yourself in a tremendous amount of debt. So I would say anybody that's looking to attend college, try to go to a state school, try to get a scholarship, try to even go to junior college for 2 years. Keep your debt as low as possible. Unless you're going to go to like a Harvard or something like that, where that degree actually means something and you're going to make a lot of money 9 times out of 10. If you go to Harvard Business School, you're going to end up on Wall Street. But other than that, it's definitely not needed because, I have a college degree in communications, but that degree didn't help me do what I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely not needed. But I feel that it can have some level of benefits, but the part that really is tricky was when you have to put yourself in a tremendous amount of debt that you might not be able to get out of.
What are you gonna rate it, 1 to 10?
I say a 6.
You say 6? I worked in education my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a 5.
Former teacher, professor.
From the student standpoint, because like what he's saying, it's a business decision, right? People think, oh, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. It's really first and foremost a business decision, right? And you can put yourself in a position that you can't recover from, right? We know people who have $300,000, $400,000 in student debt.
Sheesh.
Right? There's no bankruptcy for student loans, right? You have to pay that, right? Yeah. I don't care what your income is, they'll figure out we're gonna take a percentage of it. And so it almost becomes like the college degree. It depends on what college degree it is, right? Because you could have the communications degree, but what do you do with it? Right? And college degrees, just a bachelor's degree, is almost become the high school diploma of our age, right? It was like, oh, yeah, you graduate from high school, congratulations. Oh, you graduate from college. Now it's like, well, do you have your doctorate, right? Or did you get your master's? And even that, if it's not in a specific area, and almost sometimes it doesn't weigh out, right? Like I go to school, I go to Columbia to be a teacher. I'm gonna make $50,000 in New York City. Like that's what I'm starting with. My student loan debt's gonna be $140,000. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? How can I pay that off? I can't work that off. That's why what we're talking about is super important. It's like you can't work your way to wealth. You got to invest your way to wealth. And so the first one is the business decision of, all right, can I afford school? Community college could be my route. Junior college could be my route. So I'm gonna put it at a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you a former teacher, professor?
I was a phys ed teacher.
A phys ed teacher?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So I taught
teacher.
I was a gym teacher and I taught health.
Okay.
So I did that for like 13 years.
Damn.
And so I knew I was
public
like
school system or
New York City public school for 8 years. And then I was in Westchester County for another 4 or 5. And it was like, I knew what was being taught. I'm like, this is crazy, man. Like, they're not going to use any of this stuff. Like, even now I'm looking at my daughter's homework. I'm like, why are they teach? Like, what is this? I learned how to subtract this way. Like, why are they teaching? And then it hit me. I'm like, this isn't about the kids. It's really about the teachers, right? If I told you to do the same thing for 20 years, the same exact way, could you do it? You want to quit.
Like
so
my son,
I gotta show you new ways to do it, so it becomes interesting to you, but now it becomes more difficult for the kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was just like, this is crazy, man. But you know, school is needed. I encourage it, but the college degree becomes less and less more important if you're not in a specific area, doctor, lawyer, surgeon.
That requires it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son, he's 10, and he was doing his math homework the other day, and it was some long division thing. I didn't know how to do it, so I just used a calculator with him.
Right.
But a lot of that stuff is like, you know, it's just we get told to do things and we never question it. So even like breakfast, right? It's like the dairy industry years ago decided that, you know, it would be a good way to boost up revenue if they said that milk and eggs and, you know, cheese and stuff like that was the essential meal. But it's really not. We know that dairy is not good for you, right? And it's like, so why don't we ever question eating eggs and bacon and drinking milk? We never question it because it's just something that was told to us what to do. Even like brushing your teeth. You brush your teeth in the morning, then you eat. You really think about it. You should actually brush your teeth after you eat.
That's true.
Right?
Just don't question it.
It's called new teeth.
Some things we just don't question, and the school system is a perfect example of that. We do all this long division and add the decimals, subtract this, algebra. You don't need it. You don't need it. So why don't you just teach kids how to use a calculator? Because that's actually something that you actually need in the real world, right? But they saying calculator is cheating. How is a calculator cheating? When's the last time you saw an adult do long division?
It's the same thing. It's like when they come home with a spelling test. Like my daughter got a 75 on the spelling test, and I'm like, "Did you try your best?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I can't be mad at that. Like I know when she types, she's gonna have spell check. Like that's how when she has to have to do a report, it's not gonna even be here. It's gonna be typed." So I'm like, some of these things are outdated, but it comes from the basis of education, right? It was built in the Industrial Revolution, and that was built for people to create jobs. And so if we create jobs from the Industrial Revolution and school is based on that, then they're created to make workers, right? That's why there's a bell. That's why there's a lunchtime in the cafeteria and everybody eats and there's schedules. It's all the same thing, right? But people have evolved.
That transitions. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and that transitions perfectly to my next question is, obviously we know we talked about education and its importance. You know, you gave it a 6 on the scale, 5 on the scale. How important is financial literacy?
Everything.
10.
Financial literacy is 10, 11 on the scale 1 to 10. If you really think about it, the one common denominator in anything, whether you're See, the thing with like earth science and biology, it's not 100% useless because you actually might need it. You might be a surgeon, you might be a scientist, but the vast majority of people is not going to use it. I never used earth science in my life. Never used biology in my life.
Not when you went to the volcano.
I failed that shit.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing about financial literacy is that 100% of the people need it. So whether you're a firefighter, whether you take out trash, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a podcaster, the common denominator is everybody has to pay taxes.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody should have insurance. Everybody's gonna have to pay bills. Everybody needs to plan for their retirement. So no matter what you do in life, that is essential. So it's ironic that a lot of these other classes are mandatory and financial literacy is either not taught or it's an elective. But that should be core curriculum.
Yeah.
That should be up there with reading and writing because that's essential. Every single person, no matter what you do in life, you're gonna need financial literacy.
Yeah. It goes back to what I was saying, right?
Sure.
If I don't want you, if I teach you financial literacy, right, then you'll be financially educated. Then you're more likely to be an entrepreneur, right? But if I don't teach it to you, then you're more likely to say, I'm gonna pursue a job,
A worker,
right? So I got to keep certain people in this population because this is how it's supposed to work.
Fantastic.
But Troy, you brought up a very good point earlier.
Yeah.
You're saying that like school is a business choice that you're making because let's say, for example, you want to make money. All right, cool. I can go to school, get a degree, but now I'm in debt. Versus if I have financial literacy, I can go online and learn skills that can pay me right now. And the 4 years I spent in school, not making money, I could be spending, building my skills, building my trade, and then from there make hella way more money doing that. So it's a choice you're making. Either go to school and get your degree, then work, or work now, learn the skills on the go, make money at the same time, and after that 4 years as well.
And you could do both. Like I went to school and I worked, right? Full time. I did both full time. And it was just like, okay, the decision to go is one thing, but the cost of going, right? So I didn't go away to school. Like I stayed home, right? Because at 30, if I got to pay $1,500 to $2,000 in student loan, how can I pay to rent an apartment? Like I don't make enough money, right? And if that's not going away. Like that $2,000 a month isn't going anywhere. So I have to figure out how to make more money, right? So at that point, it's like, all right, well, I have to work 9 to 5. Well, I'm gonna have to get another job. Then you go into that cycle. Like you can't work your way out of this. You got to invest your way out of this.
Bam. And guys, there's over 1,200 you guys in here right now. Please do us a quick favor and like the video, man, because I'm getting a lot of sauce right now, man.
A lot, man.
This is stuff they're not going to teach you in school. We got Black Iron Man, $2. We taking over. Got you. Yeah,
Thanks,
we DJ Khaled now. Serious
the
Geek,
best.
$10. Great content. Thank you so much. MJ only $20 all the way from Great Britain. Yo, guys, shout out to the whole FNF fam. Big up Fresh, Myron, Chris, and Earn Your Leisure. Love all you guys. Fresh, I sent you a DM. I want to add value to your vlogs if you want down to discuss. Love from London, Great Britain.
How much right now, bro? Thank you.
Okay, OG, $5. Peace, bros. Me and my homie said y'all would be at 500,000 by the end of the year, and here it is. Congrats, for real, and keep doing it. Thank you so much, man. Anthony Stallworth, they can't suppress good content, guys. How do you guys feel about investing in virtual land? Somnium, Space, Upland, Decentraland, Decentraland, Aftermath Islands. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. $10 Dangerous Voice. Shout out to FreshandFit and Earn Your Leisure. Please, bro, stand up. Keep working, gentlemen. Thank you, Dangerous Voice. And then Delane Isaac, this stream is full of podcast gems, $5. Thank you so much. Virtual land, I've never heard of it. Are you guys aware of that?
Yeah, so that's in the NFT space.
NFT.
So we
Okay,
talked.
all right.
We got something that
In the not in the NFT
crypto
space.
space.
Not even in the metaverse.
right.
In the metaverse. Okay. Can you tell people what the metaverse is? And
So metaverse is, I mean, I guess the best way to describe it is kind of like a virtual reality. It's a lot of moving parts to it, but for the easiest way for people to probably understand is like a virtual reality, a virtual world. So it's no different from like if you have kids or you play video games.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah. No, exactly.
That's or
Exactly.
any of those games, 2K, where you have to actually like buy your character different things.
Fortnite.
It's like Fortnite, in-app purchases. So the virtual land is something we were just talking about that the other day. The central land, and there's like so imagine actually like living in this world, but then there's another like alternate world, right? And it's like in that world you have an avatar, and in that avatar you can be a doctor, whatever. You pay bills. It's a whole thing, right? You go on experiences. You go to like Egypt virtually. So now what they can do is now they can say, okay, there's only so much land in this virtual world. So now that there's only so much land in this virtual world, like any type of land, it becomes valuable, right? Supply and demand. So now if you buy a plot of land now here, if somebody wants to live or if somebody wants to buy it from you, now you're the owner of this land. No different from like just if you buy this building down the street, like, you know what I mean? Same thing, same concept. It's just in a virtual aspect as opposed to a physical reality that we know now.
Yeah, I feel like if you play Grand Theft Auto, you know what the metaverse is, right?
Okay.
Like where you could drive wherever you want.
Yeah.
You can get money wherever you want, right? You can do missions if you want.
Smash some hoes if you want.
Go to the strip club if you want.
Yeah.
Right. But think about
that's coming.
That's
For real.
But think about like now when you get the digital real estate inside of the metaverse and you have the Fresh and Fit lab or land inside of it, right? So you're buying the digital real estate inside that space. And then people have to pay to come into it for exclusive content because it only exists there.
Damn, could you imagine telling a chick on a date, bitch, I own a goddamn island virtually. Who the hell do you think you're talking to?
It's a whole new world.
We should have our own NFT, bro. No, think about it.
No, but that's what it is. So like what they were talking about, Decentraland, Sandbox is another place. They're like, and think of them like galaxies, right? There's just different galaxies where things exist. I know Facebook obviously it's calling it the Metaverse. NVIDIA is another company. They're calling it the Omniverse. They're creating these spaces where you buy that digital real estate inside of it. And you can, again, it appreciates over time. You can make certain centers inside of it. You want to attract people to come to your space. And that's how people make money inside of that.
I got
Metaverse.
it. We have a FNF Funland with a bunch of baddies. Want to come into the party?
No, it's real.
Nah, real talk. You're not coming here in real life.
Yeah, and instead of having 15 people at the table, now you got 1,000 people in a room.
And then you put on, a device like the Oculus for Facebook or the HoloLens of Microsoft, where it actually, you put on the glasses, the device, the headset, and it feels like you're actually there.
Yeah. You're talking to, like, it's your character inside of us.
It's kind of scary.
It's The Sims.
It's scary, but at the same time, like, it's coming no matter what. So you got to get used to it.
It's been here. Right, if you've ever played Sims or SimCity,
that's it.
That's what it is. Like we've been prepared for it because it's been here and you've been part of it. If you got kids, they've been playing Roblox, right? World of Warcraft, same thing. League of Champions, it's been here.
I'm gonna say three letters: NWO.
Goddamn. So, what's one piece of advice that you guys would give? I mean, right now we just discussed being on the cutting edge of new things going on. People that thought, back in 2009 when cryptocurrency was like first formulated, right? Bitcoin, whatever. They're like, this is bullshit. Somebody bought a pizza with like 60 Bitcoin. That guy's probably punching himself right now, right? And being on the cutting edge of technology and new ways to make money. What else is another way that you piece of advice you guys would give to someone that wants to be successful?
Master your craft, because I feel like there's nothing like starting a successful business. So all the stuff that we talk about as far as investing, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate, you got to have money to fund these operations. So
for sure.
For us, it was a matter of finding what we love, what we were good at, fine tuning that, and having a successful business. Now, once you have business and you have actually revenue that's coming in, now you have to actually find a way to actually make that money grow. So then it's the next phase. And then, talk about stocks, stock options. We talking about crypto. We talking about real estate. Now we're talking about digital real estate, virtual real estate in the metaverse, things of that nature. So NFTs, things like that. Art, you can invest in art. So there's a variety of different things that, how you can actually grow your money. But for us, I think most of our money is probably in the stock market. We do a lot of stock market investing. We do stock options. But we also diversify. We do, real estate, and we have a truck. We have vending machines. So, it's always looking for different ways, because you never want to have.
Does it like go pick up stuff for? Is it like?
Yeah, the truck is an 18-wheeler. So it's like, when you see an 18-wheeler, we got our logo plastered all over it. So it's a great advertisement as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So, it moves all over the country, and it's different loads. So it might be moving diapers from like Kentucky to Washington State, or, it's just a bunch of different things that whatever needs to be shipped in and whatever needs to be moved in. Most of the stuff that is transported in America is done by trucks. If you really think about it, you see trucks all the time, but you never really think about it.
I got a question about that, because I've heard of the trucking industry from before. We did an interview with Jeremy. We discussed this.
Yeah,
seems like something. It's kind of like an untapped market. Like, how does that work? Do you purchase a truck and then you hire a driver, and then basically the supermarkets pay you some kind of fee to deliver their product to certain supermarket? Like, how would someone even get into that industry? It's so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you could buy the truck or you could lease a truck.
Okay.
So it's more than a truck, and it's like a logistics company in a sense, because number one, you got to find drivers, which is very difficult.
Okay.
Then you got to have dispatch, and then you have to have an inquiry where you can see where the loads are coming from and where they need to go. And based on where the distance of them, right, will determine, and what's inside of it, like, will determine the amount of money you get for it. And so if we had something that had to be delivered from Atlanta to Miami, there's going to be a certain price depending on what they're moving and how long it's going to take to get there, right? And then, so one of the things that people do in the industry is say, all right, well, if we're doing a load going from Atlanta to Miami, let's not go unless we can get a load coming back from Miami to Atlanta. And so now you make money going and you make money coming back. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of stuff that comes in with trucking. Obviously, the maintenance of the truck is key. And that's something that people definitely need to think about before they get into the business of it, because it can be pricey, repairing tires and cooling belts and, you know, timing belts and all those type of things that come with maintenance of a car. But just think of this as a vehicle that's moving every day, hundreds, maybe sometimes thousands of miles in a week, right? So, you know, those type of expenses are very important before you start.
And so to answer your question, is a thing called a load board. So you act like if grocery stores just say, so the load board is like thousands. So when you move a product, it's called a load, right? So you move a load from, say, Washington, D.C. to Kentucky, right? Now there's a load board where there's like thousands of different items and people that actually like bid on it. So like, let's say Johnson & Johnson wants to move, you know, baby powder from Maryland to Washington. So they'll put the load and they'll say, okay, we'll pay $5,000 for this load. So now what we have is like a dispatch service, which actually calls and negotiates the rates. So they'll say, okay, we'll do it, but we need 5,500. And then they'll say 5,200, and then they'll settle on 5,200, like that. So every single day, there's thousands of loads that are posted on the load board, and that's just one way. Like you could have just a contract with a company, and you only work for that one company, and you just move their stuff. But like how we do with our truck is we use the load board, and we have a dispatching service, and they negotiate the rates. And once they say, okay, this is good, then, you know, a portion of that gets paid to the driver. And then we keep the rest, and that's how it goes.
So this is fully automated, basically. You guys just kind of like oversee the.
That's why I said saying trucking is it's a logistics company.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into
How many employees would you need for that? With the dispatch going to be a one-man show and then one driver?
So we outsource the dispatch. So shout out to Alex Good Energy. That's our guy. His company does that. So they take 10%. The dispatching company takes 10% of that. So we don't have anybody we use a dispatching company. We have one driver. So ideally, all right, if you're using a dispatching company, you just need them to do that. They'll take a percentage. You need a driver, and you probably need like one full-time person to manage the situation, because there's always issues. So you gotta be in contact with the driver. It might be a flat tire, you know, payroll, stuff like that. So if you're starting a trucking company, you should definitely look at it has to be a full-time job to manage it. Either you're going to do it yourself, or you need to have somebody else that's going to be full-time. It's not something that you can really do like just a couple hours like out of the week, but it's also not something that you need a million people to do. So I would say, you know, that's kind of like if you just start with one truck, that'd be a nice operation.
What are we talking to get into this as far as like how much money are you going to need?
I think our truck costs like $80,000 all in to buy it, but you can lease it as well. But we purchased our truck all out in cash.
Yeah.
So
truck and trailer. So it's two different things.
Okay.
Right.
So how much you need to purchase a trailer as well?
Altogether, it was $80,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an 18-wheeler?
18-wheeler.
Yeah, 18-wheeler.
And then between, I guess what would be, and you guys don't have to say specifics for your business, but what can someone think about as far as like overhead monthly costs? Because it's very interesting. I've never heard of running a business like this, but I could see how it could be lucrative because people are always going to want deliveries.
Yeah, Mike, what's the numbers? What's the numbers for the truck? How much money do we spend a month on the truck?
Gas is about $2,000 a week.
$2,000 a week in
gas.
gas.
Yeah. And then you got to figure there's maintenance.
Driver gets paid percentage of the load, so it's about 30%.
Driver takes 30% from the load.
So you're looking about like $15,000 a month.
So
$15K a month.
So we spend
operate.
about $15,000 a month, and we make probably like $10,000 a month profit. Let's say.
Okay.
Something like that.
It's automated though.
And that's because
That's really good.
That's powerful.
We own our truck, right? But if
What
you
a cash.
lease, you got to take that into account too, because then you'll have to pay your lease. So add that into it if you're leasing.
And if you look at it from like, let's say you run real estate type numbers, right? If you put in, you know, let's say 100,000, right? And you're spending $15K a month, but you're making 10K a
10.
month, you're getting a 10% cash on cash per month.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
And it might go up.
Yeah, that's what somebody told us when we was first getting in. It was like, if you look at exactly. I look at YouTube from a real estate standpoint also. Like if you make $20,000 a month on YouTube, that's the equivalent to probably how many doors, Matt?
20K a month. That's probably equivalent to, depending on where it's at, probably like 20 doors.
So that's 20
doors.
So
put a camera on him, Chris.
Shout out to MG the Mortgage guy. Yogi, what up?
Go ahead.
Talk to the mic real quick, Matt.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Test.
Yep.
So just say it one more time.
Yeah. So if you want to make 20,000 net profit on a monthly basis, that's probably the equivalent to 20 doors. If you figure you're making $1,000 per door profit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it could be a little bit more lucrative. Like YouTube is digital real estate.
Right.
You know, these videos are very lucrative, and that lives over and over without no maintenance. Right? No tenants calling you, no property managers, no evictions, things of that nature. So, digital real estate is definitely key.
My friend, I think we need a truck too.
Yeah. That's why I was asking about it.
I know some people.
Because this is like Jeremy mentioned it too.
Yeah.
And the reason why is we brought Jeremy Haynes, huge Facebook advertiser, one of the best in the game when it comes to digital marketing. And he was talking about how he took on a client to run ads for that was basically telling people $50K, we'll get a truck. You invest $50K in me, I'll get the truck. I'll run the entire logistics business, which you guys just described
for you.
And I pay you a dividend from that of running your business for you. You just invest and don't worry about shit. I pay you a dividend. But the way you guys are saying it, I'm like, damn, okay. Now I can see why someone will pay $50K to get into that, because it seems extremely lucrative to be able to get in. I mean, obviously you got the big hurdle of purchasing a truck, but essentially once you purchase the truck, you pay the driver.
You can't lose.
You're kind of almost making money over fist. And I'm assuming with one driver, you could do a bunch of loads, right?
Yeah. The only hard part, well, there's a few hard parts, but finding a driver is extremely hard.
Yeah, good one.
That's the hardest part, because you got to realize these guys is away from their family. They're on the road for like 3 months at a time.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find a driver and hard to keep a driver. So that's hard to keep a driver. So that's
a big. We got a sound effect on that one.
Yeah.
So that's the only tricky part. But I like that. But it's ups and downs and anything. But like you said, it definitely is something that can create recurring revenue for you.
Sure. That's incredible.
You know what is a good tip? If you can find like partner drivers, where there's like two of them. Like there was one. We had a twin brothers. Right, and so
they drive together. Switch shifts every 8 hours, so you never really lose money.
There you go. So the truck can always be moving.
Because
I think after 11 hours they have to have a certain amount of rest. So if you get twin drivers, then you got all right, well, you rest. Right, we got the truck actually has a bed inside of it, so they can sleep in there.
That's a finesse.
It's interesting because I know about this because as you guys know, I came clean about this. I used to be an agent for Homeland Security investigations. I used to do criminal investigations, right? And we used to catch truck drivers smuggling illegal aliens all the time. So I'm aware of hey, they have to take a break every now and then. And what we would do is we would look at their log of when they stopped, where they stopped, etc. Right? And we would go back to when they came into the United States from Mexico through the bridges, and we would be able to piece it back and figure out, when they crossed the border, when they went through checkpoints and everything else by looking at their logs. And we knew, hey, you weren't, if they were driving past that 8 hours, we knew something was off. You know what I'm saying? So it's a weird way to know these rules, but that's how we knew about it, because we would look at those drivers' logs after we arrested them, and you were interviewing them, figuring out what happened, because sometimes they'd have 100 people in the back, or they'd have them hidden in in the at the top of the truck, which is extremely dangerous. I think they call it the wind jammer or the wind case. But yeah, so definitely I can see why that would be very valuable to have two drivers so that they can keep going and you never lose money, no downtime.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, moving. They're making money.
Yeah. All right. Cool, man. Life of Jake Smooth. Last night's show was legendary. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, check that out. We had Andrew Tate, Rollo Tomasi, Jay Waller, and Sterling Cooper. We had great conversation on masculinity and future events and dealing with women, a bunch of stuff. $5 D nice. Great job, Fresh and Fit. Earn Your Leisure. Been providing so many gems for a long time. Glad to see them on the show. Fresh Networking King. Absolutely, man. Earn Your Leisure is the truth.
Appreciate y'all.
Little Danny 904, just giving y'all an update. I got the job. Thanks for the interview. Advice Fresh. That worked 110% instead of 401k. What should I invest my money in? Congratulations to you, bro.
Congrats, bro. I'll let you guys give that advice.
Okay. So she said
instead of
investing in 401k, what should she invest the money in?
Yeah.
That's a woman.
It's a guy.
My bad.
Little Danny.
Little Danny.
We got you, bro.
My bad, bro. Well, hey, I wouldn't necessarily look at it from a standpoint of one or the other. You can do both, right? Because the 401k does have benefits. It lowers your income, so you save money on taxes. And then you also get to save for your retirement. And then sometimes the job actually matches up to a certain amount. So that's free money in a sense. So I wouldn't necessarily not look at doing the 401k. It is a good vehicle to save for your retirement, but it shouldn't be your only investment. It shouldn't be the only thing that you're doing. So as an alternative to actually just only doing that, you can open up a brokerage account and you start investing, in stocks. You can start investing in what we call ETFs. Mm-hmm. So ETFs is a wide range of different stocks all in one. So and there's different sectors. So let's say they have a technology ETF. They have a technology ETF called QQQ. So inside of QQQ is Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, Facebook, all of these different companies, all these different stocks in one ETF. So that's a really great way to invest, especially if you're just starting out, because a lot of people get intimidated with the stock market. They're like, I don't know which stock to pick, right? So instead of putting all your eggs in one basket and just investing in one individual stock, you can invest in an ETF, spreads out the risk. And that's a great way where you can actually put money in lump sum, or you can put money in, on a continuous basis every single month. You can do both. So
I got a question about the stock market. And I'll read these chats and I'll ask it real quick. Big respect to Fresh and Fit and EYL questions. Is data center REITs, Equinix, a good investment in 2022? We'll answer that in a second. And then $10 from Reginald Deborah. How do I find a great CPA to not only help with filing taxes, but great money strategies? I have a catering company and I'm going to be a realtor by the end of January. I live in Minnesota. Just look for one in the area, bro.
Yeah, bro.
And that's the best thing. That's the best thing you can do. We could put you on with Steve, but he's in Florida. But busy. I mean, it depends. If you're trying to do federal taxes, all the same. But yeah, and then who else do we got here? And then $5, Amari. Do y'all think the Tesla semis are going to take over since they want all cars to be electric in the future? And would it be less maintenance?
Honestly, yeah, probably. I mean,
semis. Yeah, we talk about semiconductors. I think every Monday we talk about semiconductors, the actual chips that make the electronic devices that we use function, right? Whether it's in EVs, whether it's in computers, whether it's in gaming. All those things are relevant, and they're going to stay relevant for the next 5, 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
So we always talk about semiconductors. He said NVIDIA, AMD, ASML. I mean, all of the, what else? Qualcomm. All these semiconductors are advancing. The metaverse is another, like we said earlier, that's going to be big. Computer graphics is going to be huge. These companies make those chips. Please, please, please invest. Or keep your eye on it and keep it on your watch list. And then when you have the right opportunity, I would invest. I can't tell anybody what to do. We'll give you as much information. You make the decision. But semiconductors is one of those fields and technology that we love.
And then what about Equinix? Just answer the other guy's question.
I think they was referring to the trailers.
Oh, the semi truck.
So like
electric.
They was talking about like the electric trucks and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we were talking about trucking. I actually had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, and that's something that it was extremely interesting as far as we talk about autonomous cars, self-driving cars, and electric vehicles and things of that nature. So I feel like it's only a matter of time before every vehicle will be electric, because if you really think about it, it doesn't really make sense for it not to be. We know that it's not good for the economy to have gas, and it's not good for the environment to have gas, but it's also not good for the economy also, because we're relying on other countries for gas.
Saudi Arabia, the Middle East in general.
And it's only a certain amount of time before the oil runs up. It's not like it's going to last forever. So those countries are already planning a future without oil. Like at one point in time in the future, there's not going to be any more oil left. So the electricity is something that goes forever. It's not something, and it's better for the environment. It's lower cost. It's more efficient, which is why Tesla is over, the price that it is on the stock market, is because all those things I just named. So it's only a matter of time before I feel like every single vehicle will be an electric vehicle. So it only makes sense that, Tesla will be on the cutting edge of that. And then the next step to that is the autonomous vehicle. So I think there's more time that's going to happen before that, because they already have the technology for self-driving cars, but in America, it's the government regulations and a lot of red tape and stuff like that. So I say that to say it's definitely going to happen. I think, in my opinion, and it definitely is going to revolutionize the whole industry. And this is something that if anybody, I remember like even tolls, and we live in New York, so like before if you was when you pass a toll bridge, there were people that actually stayed in the booth, and they would collect the money and they would change the money for you. Now every toll in New York is through the they take a picture of your license plate.
Easy pass.
So I say that to say that was hundreds of, maybe even thousands of people that lost their job because technology changed it. So even if you're looking at being a driver, right? Who knows how long we'll actually need drivers?
That's true.
At some point in time, it might not be now, it might not even be in the next decade, but at some point in time, the need for drivers, there may not be a need for drivers anymore, right? Because it could just be done through automated driving, which actually saves money and could actually be safer as well. Because a lot of people criticize the self-driving thing because it's not safe. But how many people get into accidents because they're on their phone, they're drinking, they're smoking? Like, you know what I'm saying? So
number one killer is car accidents.
When you look at human error, the computer actually might be more efficient than an actual person.
Yeah. And so that was a free gem about the semiconductors. So, but even if you look, and if you do the research, if you look at state by state, how many by 2030 are saying we're going zero emission, right? So if you look at those things, you look at the new infrastructure bill where there's hundreds of billions of dollars being spent for electric charger stations. You can see where the future is going. So obviously Tesla, but there's more companies. We just saw Rivian IPO. We saw Tesla's already signed, Amazon signed over 100,000 of their vehicles. We just saw Hertz, right? Hertz is now partnered with Tesla to say, look, our rentals, we're getting 100,000 vehicles from them to now have as rental cars. So now people get to actually test the Tesla before they drive it. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. Like those type of things that happen, we just got to be aware of them.
When's that mandate go into effect? Didn't Biden put in some kind of mandate that we have to be all electric by 2030 or something like that?
Yeah, I think California's 2030. There's a couple states where it's 2035, and it sounds like, oh, that's way far out. I'm like, nah, man,
it's right around the corner.
I remember 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But see, it's funny because like they'll say something like it's coming, but it's already been here the whole time.
Right.
You haven't seen it for the first time. So once they're bringing it out, they've already tested it. Did the numbers, saw what the result is going to happen to the people, and they say, you know what? Yeah, you can have it by 2030, but it's been here already.
Yeah.
15
years ago, y'all were listening to Lil Jon and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, like that's not a long time ago, bro. Like it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It really wasn't.
Time flies.
When you think of it that way. And then what was that question on Equinix? I think that was pretty good.
We got.
It was quite basically real quick. Data center REIT's Equinix. I don't even know what that is. Good investment 2022. Have you guys ever heard of that?
What is it?
It goes Equinix 2022. Equinix are data center REIT's Equinix.
It's a REIT.
Good. Highlight it, Chris.
Yeah. Real estate stocks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't really invest in REITs.
Yeah, me
Same. I don't invest in REITs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't say yes or no.
CEO Matty J in the building.
$5.
Yo,
Thank you so much.
to the CEO.
Shout out to Matty J.
Reginald, Deborah, this question is for Earn Your Leisure. I was watching a Money Monday and Ian said to have 60 months of savings. Can you explain a little more?
Yeah, shout out to Market Monday. Shout out to everybody that watches that. Shout out to
They
Ian.
changed the name on us.
Yeah, Ian,
Damn, that's 5 years, huh? Yeah, 60
5
months.
years of savings. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I don't want to speak for him because that's something that he said, but how I look at it personally is that, I think that there's different types of, having savings and having liquid, right? So for me personally, like I said, I'll speak for myself. I can't speak for him, but I have 1 year of an emergency fund. So
I agree with that 100%.
So that's like money that let's say you're spending $10,000 a month, right? And that's on your mortgage or your rent, whatever you live, your car, your food, everything. Like that's what you need to live, right? So 1 year would be $120,000. So I have 1 year in an online savings account where it's just like I'm not planning on touching it. That's just like a doomsday scenario. Now I have more than 60 months saved liquid, but most of it is in the stock market, right? Because we know after a point in time, if your money's not working for you, you actually lose money.
Facts.
So
especially inflation.
Yeah, exactly. When you add in inflation, your money has to be invested. If it's not invested, then the dollar gets weaker every single day. Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily just have that much money sitting in the bank because it's not doing anything and I don't need it. But it doesn't mean I don't have that much money saved, because technically even the stocks is still a certain level of savings, right? It's invested, but if I needed it on Monday, I can get it within an hour. I can get the money, right?
Okay.
So it's what we call liquid. So there's two types of investments. There's liquid investments and illiquid investments. Like real estate is illiquid. So if I have $1 million,
liquid as an echo,
yeah, not liquid.
Oh, okay.
So if I have $1 million home, I can't just sell that home tomorrow and get $1 million. Even if I tried to refinance it, I can't just get money within a day or two. But in stocks or in crypto, I could literally just sell my positions and get money the next day. Right. So that's liquid. So yeah, as far as that is concerned, that's how I would take the 60 months, where you want to have, 60 months of money that you can get to at any point in time.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Liquid, and that's a great distinction between the two.
Yeah, the way I looked at it, and for when he said it, because it shocked me. I'm like, damn,
that's a lot.
I've been in charity my whole life. He always says I have 6 months to 12 months. I'm like, 60 months. That's great. That's 5 years. But it's kind of that mindset, right? Like, how do you prepare to have that type of money? If I told you to save for 6 months, you probably do like 3 weeks, right? Like, all right, I'm good, right? But what happens after you've saved that type of money, and when you accumulate money, and I'm sure y'all know, it becomes less about you and more about the other people around you, because now you become the CEO of your family, right? And
it's freedom. You're mentally free. No matter what happens, I'm taken care of. Now my focus is on other people adding value outside of myself.
And now they're gonna look for you, right? Like, you know what, you might want to take care of your mom now, right? Or your brother needs you, right? Or hey, there's somebody who has a great business idea, and so now that you have the income to do it, now you're in position to help other people and then help yourself, right? Because if you don't have money saved when it's time to invest, and that's happened to us plenty of times, where we didn't have the type of money that we wanted to invest, right? We couldn't. But if you have 60 months, if there's an investment or there's an acquisition that you can make as a business, right? Now you have the capital to do it. And so when you have that mindset of saying, all right, well, I have 5 years saved, then you can deploy some of that money somewhere and you can help others.
Bam. I got a question, man. So, and I know this is for the viewers, because you guys talk about the stock market quite a bit. And for me and Fresh, that's something that me and him actually are not involved in whatsoever.
We want to get into it soon.
Well, we want to get into it. And I know a lot of people want to get into it as well. Me and Fresh are really heavy into real estate and cryptocurrency. Those are my two main investments right now. Mm-hmm. If someone wanted to get into the stock market and wanted to maybe have more of a buy and hold strategy versus trading, right? So it's kind of dummy proof, especially for a guy like me. And they wanted to earn, let's say 10K a month, basic barometer number, right? What would they need to be, what steps would they need to take to get there, I guess? How much capital would they need? How much time are we looking at? And you guys don't have to go into too crazy detail, but how would someone stock investing for dummies like me and Fresh?
So the goal of making $10,000 a month is going to be the tricky part, because it's like, you buy and hold, and we don't know what the stock market is going to do, right? It can go up, it can go down. But if you buy and hold, and over the course of time, you'll make money. But the $10,000 a month, that's more from a swing trader, day trader perspective, right? So you could potentially do that. That's $120,000 a year. You could potentially do that with just a long-term buy and hold strategy, but you're going to need a lot of money up front, right? So like, let's say you invest $1 million and that earns 10% for the year. So now you made $100,000 for that year, right? But you needed $1 million to make that. Even if you invest $500,000 and you earn 20%, which is really good, right? 20% in 1 year. But you actually had to have 500,000 to get that 20%, which is 100,000. Now, and I'll let Troy talk about this. There's other strategies that you can use, but you're going to have to be more involved. It's going to be more involved than just buying and holding something if you want to make something like that. When you talk about options and stuff like that.
Yeah, so trading comes with considerable risk. And so if you're trying to make that type of money, right, that comes with more risk. And so options trading is really predicting or educatingly guessing the future outcome of a position or a stock, right? So if I asked you right now, do you think Apple, which trades at $145 today, will be able to grow to $160 by January 2024? You say what?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Great potential in doing that, right?
Sure.
Great potential. Yeah.
You have the option to say, like, all right, I'm willing to say that's going to happen, right? That's appreciation, right? It goes up. That's a call. If I said, hey, what do you think? Do you think that same position could drop to $130? Maybe you say yes, and that would be a put. And so you're predicting the appreciation or depreciation of a position, right? So let's use Apple. And so if you make that position, that's a long-term call. All the equity has to do is just trend up and you can make money. The problem is people say like, I want to make 10,000 in a day. And they'll say, all right, well, I can't go out to January 2024. I'm saying Apple's going to be $155 by next Friday. And if Apple trends up towards that number and they have money that's invested, potentially that could happen. But what happens if Friday, like a day like Friday happens and Apple drops by 3%?
Oh,
now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. So it's considerable risk. But what we always preach and we always tell people is if you're going to do options, put them out as far as possible, go extend as far as you can. Because what happens with that is that there's going to be volatility that occurs throughout the market, like we've seen over the past week or so. But eventually we know one thing about the market, the stock market, is that it's always going to trend up. There's going to be bear years, there's going to be bullish years, but over time, it will trend upwards. And so knowing that, we like to have enough space and enough time so that whatever position we're in can have its volatility and then it could settle, but it could always have an upward trend.
Damn. So just buy and hold. Don't try to like day trade and back and forth.
Well, yeah,
I mean, buy and hold is the
himself.
easiest.
It's the easiest.
Yeah, he's talking about options, and then I asked for buying and hold. So buying and holding, you need a substantial amount of capital. So we talk about somewhere between 500,000 to $1 million, and the stock market doing a 10%, return. Which I mean, historically, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, between 6 to 8% historically in the past 100 years, stock market.
Around it, closer to the 8%.
Okay.
But recently, like in the last 12 years, it's been more than double digits average. So stock market has been good. The stock market has really been on a tremendous run since 2008. We had a pullback last year during the coronavirus when coronavirus first hit, but then after that it went on a run as well. So I mean, if you're looking at just like the S&P 500 over the course of time, you're looking at like a 10% average rate of return.
And that's if you want to make $10,000 in a month.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going like a little high here. You know what I'm saying? Most people will probably be comfortable with going with like 1 to 2K a month profit.
Yeah.
Which I mean, at that point, what you can invest maybe $500,000.
But the thing about it, you could just invest anything because over the course of time, your money's growing. So it's like, what's your alternative, right?
Yeah.
You only have a few things you can do with money. You can save it, which is not going to do anything.
Facts. Right.
You can spend it. You know what happens with that? You just lose it.
Yeah.
Now you're back at ground zero, or you can invest it. So there's only 3 things that you can do with money. So by investing it, no matter what it is, even if it's $100, right? It goes up by 20%. You gain $20. It's not life changing, but it's better than just spending $100 and now you got to make $100 back again. So, and the key is like, you invest this 100, now you invest the next 100, now you invest 1,000, now you invest 5,000, now you know. So over the course of time, as you keep putting money into any investment, not just stocks, that's just how investments work. You keep putting money in over the course of time. Your money's growing over the course of time. And before you know it, you have a couple $100,000 that you have from the money that you put in, but also from the appreciation that it has, accrued over the course of time.
Because with a bank, you're lucky to get 0.001% of interest, which is nothing. You're going to actually inflation is going to eat away at that money's value faster than anything else. So I guess what I would say is if someone had $10,000 to invest, let's say a guy has $10,000 to invest, should they go into ETFs? What should they do? Index funds? What should they do as far as like they create their brokerage account? They're ready. I got 10,000. I'm ready to put in this bitch. What should they do?
I mean, you could do both. If you never invested before, like Ian, our partner Ian on Market Money, he has a strategy where he does 2 tech, 2 index funds. 2 tech stocks, 2 index funds.
Right.
So you can break that up. So like, let's say SPY, that's the S&P 500.
Mm-hmm.
So you can invest, like, let's say you want to invest half of the money in the S&P 500. That's extremely
2 tech and 2
indexes.
Yeah.
Index.
But
so that's an index right there. SPY is an index.
But I'm not even going to talk about the 2 tech. I'm just going to just say if you want to just do like 2, like just safe type plays. So if the S&P 500 is a microcosm of the stock market, it's 500 companies. So whenever they say like the stock market is up, but the stock market is down, they're referring to the index, not every single stock on the stock market. So there's a couple indexes, like there's the S&P 500, there's the Russell 2000, which is 2,000 companies, and there's the Dow Jones. So the S&P 500, the largest companies from all different sectors. And you can invest in that, right? So that's a very conservative way to go, because it's like if everyone, if the 500 companies don't perform well over the course of, a period of time, then that means the whole entire stock market is just going to collapse, right? So that's an easy way. That's an easy way to start investing. And then, of course, you can do another more specific route, which is the ETF. So the ETF, instead of just picking like 500 companies, the ETF is going to narrow it down to a certain industry. So what I had mentioned before with QQQ, which is a technology ETF, that's just like technology companies, right? So these are all companies that have been leaders in, technology over the course of the, last 40 years. So you can invest in the S&P 500, SPY, and you can invest in QQQ. That's an easy way without even having to buy individual stocks. You don't even have to buy in one individual stock. You can just invest in one index fund and one ETF.
Yeah, they all star teams.
Bam. So I would just say, just from what you guys are saying, money that I don't really need, I can put towards saving. I could just put it towards stocks and let it just go over time.
Yeah.
That's fire.
It's basically a high performance savings account.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Versus the banks taking your money and making a bunch of money on it. You might as well at least, because I mean, like you said, historically it's been in the double digits. So if you invest 10,000, is it fair to say? How often do you get paid your dividends? Every 3 months, every month?
So it depends on what you're investing in, because everything doesn't have a dividend.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I always like to say, like, if you're investing in something that has a dividend, if you don't need the dividend, it's always better to reinvest the dividend, because now you're just buying more stock and it's going to grow faster and you have more compounded interest. So, and especially the dividends, unless you have a lot of money, the dividends is not really going to make that much of a difference anyway. You make it like $100 dividend or $80 dividend.
Right.
So it's like, if you don't need it, it's always better to reinvest the dividend. So you're not really looking at it from a standpoint of, I'm going to live off of this investment. It's more so, like you said, it's a savings account with a much higher interest rate. That's the mentality that you should have when you look at investing. You should look at it like, I'm not going to take this money. I'm never going to touch it. Of course, you can touch it, but going into it thinking that you're not going to touch it, it automatically is like out of sight, out of mind. Because you don't want to. What you don't want to do is treat it like a savings account where it's like, all right, I put money in, and then it's Christmas. I'm gonna take from my stock to buy Christmas gifts, and then it's 4th of July. I got to go to Miami. I'm gonna take from my stocks to go to Miami, because you're never gonna have time for the investments to grow, and it kind of defeats the purpose if you just
compound interest.
Yeah.
Because I met Millionaire a couple weeks ago, and I was asking about investments, right? He was like, "Yo, bro, if you really wanted to live off stocks, you need maybe 3 million plus to even get that.
I've heard that magic number as well.
You need at least 3 million. I was like, bro, who has $3 million right now? Not a lot of people. So you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Damn. Did you have something? I know you were going to say.
No, I was going to say a lot of times, so that the ETFs are great, and a lot of times people ask like, where should I start? And I'm like, you know where to start, because you look where you spend your money. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
People are spending money. Like right now, you got like 14 Sony cameras, right? But we could invest in Sony as a company. I went to kids and I told them, like, look, the same price that you pay for the PlayStation, you could have bought 5 shares of Sony, right? for one PlayStation, right? If you would have bought it in December before it was announced and maybe sold some of the shares that you bought, Sony would have paid for the PlayStation itself. Right? Just by the investment. And so we know what to invest in because we spend the money. We're so used to being consumers rather than being owners and investors that it fucks us up. It's like, yo, what are we supposed to do? Like, everybody here has an iPhone. How many of us are investing in Apple? You got an iWatch. You're already spending money with the company. You don't have to look where to go, bro. Like, you're giving the money to the people that you should be investing in.
You know, it's funny. We have a segment every night with girls, right? After our shows. And we have a segment where we tell girls, hey, if you do certain things, you might be single. That's your life. And we say invest in chewy dog food because think about it. If they're single in the future and have no kids, what are they gonna have? Pets. We
have a delusion calculator. We asked them to put in their numbers of what kind of guy. They always describe a guy that's 6'2", $100,000 a year, whatever it is, not married, all this other shit. And it always goes to like 1% of the population or less. So they end up getting they have a cat bag score. Most of them score 4 out of 5 cat bags, if not 5 cat bags out of 5 cat bags. And we pull out the cat bags and we throw them on air. It's hilarious. But the thing is, we say invest in Chewy because these girls are going to be single, bro.
You got them eating.
Chewy's a good investment.
Eating cat food?
No. That's not it. No. So because they have no kids and they're not married, what do they have to take care of?
They get pets.
Oh, pets.
So in the future.
So that's a sign of if a chick has 5 cats.
Yeah,
single. Cat lady.
Yeah. So we make jokes and we tell people we kind of be funny about it, like, yo, invest in Chewy. But it's funny because we actually brought a girl on one time that worked for Chewy, and she said, yeah, they've been growing substantially the past few years.
That's what I'm telling you. I've seen their earnings reports. I'm like, no, that's not a bad investment. Chewy is a great investment.
Yeah.
People love pets.
Yeah.
Like,
that's smart though.
And they estimate in the next 10 years, over 50% of women will be single. So
you heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
EYL.
We about to buy a bunch of Chewy stock.
That's the power of like influence, right? Like you say that as a joke, right? But what if 50,000,
really
like 500,000 people are gonna watch?
People send us screenshots.
If 1,000 people say like, "Yo, we're gonna invest in it," you're gonna see, right?
Bro,
like,
people send us screenshots. Yo, it just went up. I'm like, bro, I was kidding. but they actually go to buy it. I'm like, wow, it's working.
Chewy to the moon. Let me ask you this: this 1,500 people. This is on Facebook or YouTube?
We're live streaming to all the platforms.
Also, that's all
the
together.
aggregate of all of them, and then it shows that's the actual breakdown of each.
Got you. But another platform you could be invested in, right? Like I see Google Chrome. Google is a publicly traded company, right? Like we obviously use them,
and they ain't going nowhere.
And YouTube, we know, right? Through AdSense is a business as a revenue model. Google's another company. We don't have to look far.
So this mindset from consumer to
owner.
Producer or owner.
That's a fantastic, guys. That's a gem right there in itself, man. Look at what you already buy and invest in that. Rashad, did you have something? I know you wanted to chime in something.
No, I'm good.
Yo, that's the fun part now because we talked about money. We need to let's talk about the interviews with the special guests that you guys have on the show.
Let's do it.
After these.
Okay, I think I speak for every subscriber here. We really appreciate you guys and the hard work you put into giving us priceless information.
Got y'all, man.
Absolutely. And here I'm learning alongside with you guys. I'm not, above learning. Like these guys are giving great game on stocks.
We don't know everything.
Taking notes, bro, because I need to get into it.
Yep.
What are the best apps to use for stock investing?
I use TD Ameritrade. That's a good one.
I use E-Trade, I use TD, and I use Fidelity. Those are three. I mean, most beginners use Robinhood. So
okay. And Weevil, does Weevil work too, or is
Weevil's
that like
cool.
It's basically all you're doing is creating an account to purchase the stock from, right? I'm assuming.
Does it really matter which one you use?
Yes. Okay. It does. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. All right. Yo, culprit,
is it a good idea to use Cash App to buy stocks?
I don't use Cash App to buy stocks. But I mean, any barrier wherever you're at is start with that, right? Because something is better than nothing. So I don't want to sound like a snob and be like, you can only use. Cause we don't get paid from any of these companies, so I'm not endorsing any of them. But just for me, I can only speak for me personally. I just like TD because I feel like it has a easy inner user face.
What's it?
TD Ameritrade. It has an easy user interface. It's obviously like one of the largest brokerage firms. So we look at that as far as how reputable the company is. Do
they have better rates maybe between like not taking, I guess, maybe as much user fees? Is that why?
There's fees when you trade transactions. So I mean, you could easily Google search those. But yeah, so that I know that was some of the.
I was wondering what the difference between them would be.
Right. I just have this thing about like I need to, when I do trade, it's going to be on my computer. So doing it in an app sometimes, I'm just like, I feel like I might hit the wrong button at the wrong time.
Do you do it from your phone, Rashad?
Yeah, I do it from my phone. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like I said, they're all good.
And you're more in it. You're actually options trading and stuff like that. So that makes sense why you would want the computer to actually look at everything versus like someone like me. I'm just gonna buy it on my phone.
That's how my uncle. He'll wake up every morning, get coffee, watch the news in China, and then the night before, and then the U.S., and then go to his computer and just sit there, shut the door, hone in. Yeah.
Because I before I do this, like certain things, like certain charts I need to see.
Right.
Just I have like browsers open before I do anything. So that's tough to do on the phone. But yeah, if you're investing, whatever you feel is the most comfortable and user friendly for you,
just start.
Do it.
You're doing it at a higher level, so that makes sense why you need to see charts and stuff. Williams World, $5 for stocks. Try to meet Kevin. He's also amazing at real estate. He has a huge YouTube channel, over 2 million. Okay.
All right.
I'll look him up. Venom. I think I've fucked up. I bought 3K in Peloton stock when it dropped, thinking it would bounce back. Kept dropping though. Now I'm down $700.
Yo, Mike, is that you?
All right, guys. So y'all interview a bunch of guests, and when it comes to networking, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a goat. Y'all are also goats. So you interviewed DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, Soulja Boy, one of my people there, and then guys, out of those interviews, tell us what you've learned from talking to all these people about finances. Shout out to Neil Davis, all those guys too.
Davis,
CEO Matty J. Shout out to all of them. So, what'd you learn from these guests on your show?
I think a few different things, but the most important thing is all of them have some level of system where they're delegating authority. So, a lot of time for small businesses, a lot of times why small businesses stay small is because they have too much ego and pride and they're stingy, meaning that, they try to do everything themselves. They don't want to take advice from anybody and they don't want to pay anybody. They don't want to hire any help. Right. And it's like, even if you look at the Rose interview, it's not like he knows every single thing. He doesn't really know a lot about running a Wingstop, but he has 35 Wingstops, but has his sister and his mom that's actually running the Wingstops for him. Right. So having different, and that's even people could say, okay, yeah, well, he's rich, so it's easy to do that. But even us, that's been our business model from day one, is to empower other people, hire our friends and work with people that we know. So it's like, we don't have time to do trucking. We don't have time to do merch. We don't have time to do a lot of things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't have them and make money from it. We just got to have other people. Now, we might make less money because we're actually, delegating that and they get paid a portion of that. But we actually would make more money because if we try to do it ourselves, it wouldn't work because we just don't have enough time.
Right.
So that's something that, I learned from just networking and being around a lot of different people, not just celebrities, but pretty much everybody that we've had on the platform. Anybody that's really successful on a very high level is that they have a team. Having a team is extremely important. You can only go so far by yourself. You have to have a team.
Yeah, I would say, and it goes for everybody, their level of resiliency. There's a certain level that you have to be successful. When we were talking about Ross, where he was writing rhymes for 10 years before he had hustling, or Khaled telling us he worked 90% of his career for free, right? And people told him no, right? And Neil, like, his thing was like, look, it has to work or it has to work. There's only one thing that can happen, right? It's gonna work because the level of resiliency that they have about what they're about to do, their passion for their purpose in life. So that's pretty dope. And their creativity. A lot of times we see people and we're like, you know what? Man, that's why you're great, right? Your vision for that was unlike anything we've seen or anything like the world has seen. So it's like, all right, well, resiliency and you're creative. Those are two of those ingredients that you need to have to be successful.
Bam.
And who's the most influential person you guys have interviewed? You can make maybe top 2, top 3, whatever it may be.
Listen,
but you guys have interviewed a bunch of people. Hey,
Fresh and Fit.
Hey, that's
Wait.
Yeah, you guys are around very successful people all the time.
Hold on. We never been on your platform, huh?
Oh, we gotta get you guys on.
We gotta change that, bro.
Yeah,
we gotta change that.
We gotta make that happen.
Gotta make it happen.
Yeah, but they talk about money, bro. We gotta talk about womanizing.
Nah, I can't do that. Can't do that.
You feel me?
Shout out to our women investors.
we gotta keep it PG.
Yeah.
PG. I mean, we interviewed a bunch of influential people. It really just depends on how you define influential. I mean, of course, we interviewed a few billionaires. So like Mike Novogratz, the guy, people might not even know who he is, but he's a billionaire heavy in the crypto space.
Okay.
Vlad Tenev, the CEO of Robinhood. Speaking about Robinhood, he's obviously a very influential person. He's the CEO of one of the largest, financial companies in the world. Mark Cuban is somebody that we interviewed. He obviously has a ton of influence being, Mark Cuban, Shark Tank, and owner of the Dallas Mavericks, things of that nature. But then even when you look at somebody like, Rick Ross, I feel like Ross has a lot of influence, cultural influence. DJ Khaled has a lot of cultural influence. Sure. He's changed the whole culture as far as that. But even if you look at it from, other people that may not be celebrities, like you look at like a 19 Keys, I feel like he has a lot of influence, you know what I mean, as far as what he does and the people that he reaches, or a Wall Street Trap or Ian Dunlap, they all have influence. So there's different levels of influence, and I feel like it really just depends on who you ask that question to, because one person might be influenced by one person, another person might be influenced by another person, but all those people that I named, I feel like they have a strong influence.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you add to it, our CPA was a guest on our show. She was our first guest.
Wow.
Right. Our partner, MG, was a guest on our show before he was our partner. Right. They told us about real estate. They told us about taxes. Our brother, Derek Falcon, shout out to Derek Falcon. Right. He really came with a blueprint, and his interview changed the way we interviewed for the future guests going forward. He changed the structure of what Earn Your Leisure was because of how transparent he was about his business and his industry. It was like, all right, well, this is our new formula now. Right. Before it was just me and Rashad going over business and talking about the backstories of some of the things in sports entertainment. But when we got to see an entrepreneur tell his story, and there was no platform doing it, it was like, boom, that's it. So like, this influence could come from anybody.
See, the foundation is set ready because you never start learning. So like, you bring somebody on, you might know something from your experience, but they have a whole new experience that you don't know.
Right.
So it can help you grow as a person and in your audience as well. You don't lose. So that's powerful, man.
Yeah.
Bang, bang.
Yeah.
All right, I'll read these chats real quick. Guys, do me a quick favor.
Like the video.
I think there's about 13 or 1,400 of you guys watching us right now on YouTube. Please like the video, get the engagement up so this video gets pushed out because we don't want all the fuckery out there, man. This was a great conversation so far, man. I'm taking down notes myself, guys. You know
also,
what I'm saying?
We just
learning
hit
a bunch.
498K live on
Hey,
air.
Oh, wow.
man, that's what we're talking
What we
about,
got for that? What we got for that?
Yo, we need 2K more subscribers. We're gonna have a big 500K party here in Miami. You need to come out for that party.
Oh, yeah. Where you gonna have it at?
Let me know.
Probably sometime early
determined?
2022.
I don't want to
For sure.
say the location just yet.
Be here, though.
Yeah, it's gonna be here. It's gonna be here.
All right.
But
Let me know.
It's gonna be
Oh, yeah, we'll pull up.
Definitely pop out for that.
Oh, yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
We got you.
Chi-Town, $10. Thank you so much. And then Chi-Town again, $10. Apollo is fire. See y'all in Houston. Troy, the market pays those who are patient. Okay.
Oh, you were there then. Yeah, that's a fact.
Williams World, $5. Buying stocks is voting with your money. Facts. FreshandFit 820. For a regular guy out there, what should he do after making 6 to 10 figures in crypto?
Invest.
Bang some hoes, man. Rod Eric,
First and foremost.
$5.
Off the rip.
Nah, invest that money, bro. Like I'm heavy into real estate. Like I take all my money and I put it to real estate, but you know that's where most of my earned income goes.
But look, if you made the money, they're gonna come to you anyway.
Yeah.
They're gonna
With your
come,
lifestyle.
right. It comes with it.
Lifestyle, man.
Right now, I'm residential, bro, but I'm gonna expand into commercial next year. And shout out to Jay Waller. Waller's huge in real estate, guys. We're gonna bring him on the show and talk about that in detail.
Bro.
Justin is making big money doing that. Rod Eric, my birthday today.
You got to tap in with Matt if you want to expand your real estate portfolio.
Okay, I
talk
definitely
about
will.
that, sure.
I definitely will. Rod Eric, my birthday today, fam. Time to celebrate 500K. We the best podcast in the world. We got you. Happy birthday, Rod. And then $5 Traj Idoa Veritas. I've been using Charles Schwab as my brokerage account for access to their Amex Platinum card. What is your view on this brokerage?
Choices, man.
I don't use Charles Schwab. Obviously a well-established firm, but I don't. You don't use it.
Nah, it's good though.
Yeah,
It's established.
solid one.
Yeah, it's solid for sure.
All right.
Okay. And then Keith Murphy, love you guys. Earn Your Leisure changed my life this year. I have 100K in revolving crypto stocks in 10 months and Fresh and Fit for your daily entertainment. We got you, bro.
There you
We
go,
got you
man.
out with everything.
See, a mixture of both.
Get girls,
Yeah.
make money, get in shape. We help you out with everything, man.
Total
We love the host.
Who doesn't?
I speak for me and him.
These guys are hosts.
They're good.
Johnson Hoku, $10. Have you guys thought about helium mining? Buying is low cost. The devices use only 5 watts of power, and they pay you an NHT for building a decentralized 5G net. Stick these at properties for max profits.
There you go.
Interesting. The Creative Counsel by Candid. Shout out to EYL with the best money advice. FNF is not only for the men. If you just listen, Linda, logical ladies can learn from these guys about how value men think. Yeah,
It's true.
absolutely.
HVM.
The Creative Counsel by
You got
Candid.
the shirt.
by
You
the
got the
way.
merch. HVM merch.
Nah.
We got to do that.
Yeah,
Oh,
What is a high value man?
Ooh.
we can do that actually.
Right.
No, I think he wants to know.
Yeah, it's a question.
Oh,
So
I think it was those metrics. Right?
honestly speaking, high value. Honestly, you guys are high value because you add value to the marketplace,
Mhm.
right? Men want to be you, and women want you on the low, even though you don't
On the high.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Not even on the low.
There you go. But just you add value so much that like other men want to be you, women want you, and also as well you help people grow. Look, honestly speaking, high value just means that you're adding value.
Okay.
Everybody.
Yeah.
HVM.
You add value at a level that's pretty much indisputable, and your peers and the opposite gender see it, acknowledge it, and respect it. And I would say that's whether it's you are a content creator, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, etc. That's you add value to the world, and a byproduct of you adding value to the world is the respect of others.
Yeah,
that's what I would say if we're
Yep.
gonna boil it
Dope,
down.
dope.
$5. What y'all think about the trade, Barber?
It's dope, man. It's a hustle.
You're always gonna need a barber.
That's
Facts.
a fact.
True.
Cash business too. Just pay your taxes, guys.
That's a
If you,
fact.
but if
Shout out
you
to-
become a celebrity barber, you get paid way more than regular barbers.
Shout out to the mobile barbers.
Yes,
They move.
Yes.
Yeah, they move. They
They
move.
travel.
I've seen a bunch of them out here this weekend.
$10 Nimbus. Myron, what do you mean by investing all your money into real estate? Can you elaborate on that, please? Thanks. So this year, guys, long story short, I bought 6 properties. I took a majority of my earned income that I made from, the podcast, my businesses that I've had, my fitness business, etc., and I just dumped it all into real estate. I bought basically turnkey duplexes and triplexes, and that were, cash flowing somewhere between 10 to 15%. And that's where, I put all my money pretty much. and I'm still, still doing real estate because I have a personal monthly goal that I want to hit, which I'm pretty much there now. But then I want to hit my second goal next year, and that's what I'm doing right now. Is taking all that earned income and dumping it into real estate, which now I also want to get into stocks based off what you guys were saying. Because taking 10K, I think I could take 10K and put it into the stock market. I think that I need to do that. Just because I'm a big fan of like being diversified. I think being one of these guys, like I'm only in crypto. I know guys that put 90% of their wealth in crypto, and I'm like, damn, your asshole must be tight all day, bro. Because goddamn, that shit is volatile as hell, bro. Like goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Whereas real estate is extremely, real estate is extremely stable. You know what I'm saying? It's not going anywhere. People are always going to need a place to live. It's tangible, concrete, and steel, as Grant Cardone would say. Yeah. So I have that as well. And I have a good amount of crypto as well. But, I think being diversified is important. The stock market is the last frontier that I haven't really got into. And with your guys' advice, definitely going to do it.
We put the majority of money back in the studio.
Yes, in the business. Yeah.
And then,
of course.
So definitely did that.
Yeah.
Is the real estate here in Florida that you invested in?
Yeah, I got 2 properties here in Miami and then 4 in Connecticut. But the thing with the ones I got here in Florida is I got lucky, man. Like I tell this deal all the time. I went into contract for a deal, right, for 368. It's a duplex in Northwest Miami. And then the appraisal came back at 337. And I was like, damn, well, I got 2 options. I can back out the deal or do the deal, but I'm going to have to come to the table with more money because financing is only going to cover a certain portion if it appraises a certain price, right? Yeah. So I drove around the neighborhood and I was like, well, my real estate agent, we saw that a development was growing from some New York investors, and there was a train station right near there. Yeah. And I was like, you know what, dude? Miami's growing, it's exploding. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put more money into the deal. I'm gonna do it. The cash flow is good. It was about 12% cash on cash return, even with me putting in more cash. And now that house, I bought it. I closed March 12th. That house now is worth over $400,000.
Yep.
In a short amount of time.
Miami, man.
And that just goes to show that a crazy appreciation in Miami because all the New Yorkers are coming down here. They don't want to live in New York's expensive, cold, etc. You guys know. You guys are from there. I'm from Connecticut myself. So I was like, damn. So it ended up working out really well. It's just that now it's like almost kind of too late in Miami. It's too goddamn expensive. I see duplexes and triplexes making $2,000 a month going for like $500,000. I'm like, what the fuck? This don't make no sense. Who's gonna do this deal? But people are doing it.
But guess what? When it goes up, it must come down.
Exactly.
At some point.
Yeah. But right now it's really high.
Yeah.
But that's what I do with my money, guys. Oh, shit, Siri was listening. So even Siri was peeking in. Okay, thanks. Next year I'm planning to put into donation charities so I won't have to pay hefty capital taxes. That's from FreshFit to 820. Desmond Montgomery. I made all my money with Robinhood last year when everything was down. Cool. The Creative Counsel by Candid. A high-value man earns his leisure, exercise self-discipline, and knows how to lead appropriately while maintaining his place in society of other men who are high-value men. Cool.
There you go.
And then King Darius. A high-value man is a man who has substantial network, uber, success financially. Women are a byproduct of it. Facts.
There you go.
And then Amar Antiquity. What can you bros say about Bowden's, I think it means Biden, okay, proposal to raise the capital gains tax of 40%? Yeah, shit sucks, man.
There you go.
There it goes.
Yeah, there you go. That's all I got. That's no trash.
No
Just
comment.
when we get here.
Yeah. So,
all right, guys. What's the future of Earn Your Leisure, and where can they find y'all?
So the future of Earn Your Leisure is a lot. That's a lot, man. We got EYO Network. EYO Network is our podcast network that we have. So Rants and Gems podcast, #1 real estate podcast in the world.
Facts.
We have Ash Cash Inside the Vault. We have Market Mondays, which is a cultural phenomenon. We have the Inner Wealth podcast. We're working on a few other podcasts that we, going to be announcing pretty soon. That's going to be big. So one of the goals is to continue to grow EYO Network and continue to empower, creators and entrepreneurs and give them a voice. And EYO University is our online educational platform where we actually go over everything from, crypto, stocks, real estate, credit, everything you need to know, but it's more of a hands-on learning experience. So there's over 10,000 members in EYO University, and we're looking to grow that to like 50,000, 100,000. So
nice.
That's something that we're extremely excited about. And then, the live event space, we have an annual festival called Invest Fest. So we'll be gearing up for that soon. That'll be in August. And then we're on tour with Market Mondays. We just did the Apollo. We got Houston next month. Then we're doing a real estate expo tour. So our first stop is Oakland, California, and it's going to be free. This one's going to be free. So if you're in Oakland, this Saturday, December 11th, go to our website and go to the events tab, sign up for that. It's free, but you must RSVP. So yeah, that's pretty much, just a couple of things. And, as far as where to find us, Earn Your Leisure across all social media platforms. Earn Your Leisure's YouTube channel. To try to make it as easy as possible.
And obviously our show Revolt, Assets Over Liabilities. So we got a bunch of episodes coming from that. And you see the clothes that we wearing, right? Fresh and fit. So yeah, our merch line we're ramping it up, and it's gonna be something special in 2022. We've been giving it a preview for the past 6 months of what we're gonna be coming with. So people are really excited about that. So we're gonna open it up to the public a little bit.
Man, that's
fantastic.
fire.
And I got one last question.
Yeah.
Obviously, inflation is here. Hyperinflation is probably already, or if not already here as well. What do you guys think people should do to prepare for the future as far as creating their freedom and or financial security?
Learn to invest. That's something that, can't be taken away from you. Information and knowledge is something that you can have till you die. So, and you can teach your children as well. So learn to invest. Learn about business. Start business. The first business that you start probably is not going to work. We started a bunch of businesses that didn't work, but now the business that we have now is successful. So, being an entrepreneur and being an investor is something that I'm very passionate about. And I feel like, that's probably the best advice that I can give when you talk about inflation. The only way to beat inflation is to have money growing. And the only way to have money growing is through investments and through business. Yeah. So learn to invest, learn about real estate, learn about, stocks, learn about crypto, learn about the metaverse, and really drill down on your passion and start a business.
Bam.
I like that trucking one too. That was a lot of sauce on that
gems
one.
Right
it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, more businesses. That's what we're trying to create.
And then I would just say after that, your network. Think about this.
Absolutely.
We just had on Andrew Tate, Roll
multi-millionaire,
Shannon Cooper,
yep,
Justin Waller.
Another
we got today. Earn Your Leisure. Like who you surround yourself with, what you learn from them, can elevate your life. But if you're staying with the same people from school, doing nothing, smoking weed all day, then where are you gonna go?
And here's the thing: you guys want to know the beauty of being around these types of people? Now that we did this interview, I'm gonna take 10K and put into the stock market. And I'm doing something that I would not have done had I not had this conversation with other high IQ individuals that know something that I don't. You know what I'm saying? And that's the importance. You guys got to see this conversation, obviously broadcast on a podcast. But if you aren't having these conversations with your friends, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? If you can't have these high IQ conversations about making money, improving yourself, whatever, you need to get rid of these people. We talked about that yesterday with Andrew. Check out that video. But, you got to surround yourself with other successful people, and more importantly, successful people that kind of know you're blind, that that you're blind to, so they can cover you with those blind spots.
Yeah. MG, what'd you say? Change your conversation, change your compensation?
That's a fact. Gotta change the conversation. Gotta change your area.
All right. Lastly, Jay Ross, $5. And yeah, man, I know you guys gotta run out of here, but this was an awesome interview.
Thank you guys for the time, bro. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. We definitely gotta, have you guys on, and then we gotta, do a night show one of these days.
You got to, man, with the girls.
And thanks to your squad for coming by too, as well, man.
Shout out to the
team. The mortgage guy, everybody here.
You guys were throwing some game on the couch as well, man. So thank you.
No, I appreciate you.
Of course.
Thank you for the hospitality, brother.
Okay,
all right, guys. Peace.
All right, man. Later.